Cupid is definitely the LeonHarte's best god. That seems to be his go-to one. He loves playing Cupid. He's very good, and he actually has more the mindset that Cupid isn't so much a hunter as he is as he is an assassin in this game.
For a
So
second,
he
I
really likes
thought you were
going
going to
in.
say he's not so much a hunter as he is a Muppet.
Well, he does kind of look like a Muppet.
But yeah, Tebble not going Artemis, I guess, is expected. But, like, that's what you're saying. You know, he could be trying to counterpick.
He could be. Bastet also at this point, she recently got that rework to her kit. Because of that, she got some buffs that came with it, and they're still kind of trying to balance her out at this point. She's still a very strong god right now. That pounce is absolutely ridiculously strong. There's no real way to counterplay against it at the moment because there's no real way to keep her from bouncing back. So she's able to get in, deal a lot of damage, and then back away to safety in case the encounter is not going her way.
And as we discovered earlier, that Bastet, her jump, if you silence her after her first leap, she can still leap away.
Interesting.
Yeah, there is no real way to get out of that movement impairment. You can't cripple her out of it. I don't even think Cupid's ult with the crippling ability to it will cancel that. So I think she can still just bounce right back. That's something I think they're supposed to be looking into. But as it is right now, that's built into the kit, and that's going to be very dangerous for Cupid to have to contend with. He doesn't have a whole lot of protections to himself. He has that 3 for a dash for escape, but Cupid can be very much a squishy god early on.
I'm interesting how it plays out. As I remember Leon talking last time that he'd played Poseidon. I don't remember if that was the last match he was in, or if we were just doing some sort of a 3v3, and that he was just wrecking everyone. No, it was one of the commentary matches. He was just wrecking everyone with Poseidon. And he'd actually said that he was really comfortable with Poseidon, thinking possibly using him in the tournament. But, you know...
I believe his first match was as Poseidon.
I think I might be thinking LD Joy.
Perhaps.
I remember LD Joy was the one who wrecked that one commentary match as Poseidon, unless it was the commentary match I missed.
I'm sure we'll figure it out and look at stuff. You know, it's not like I have a memory for this kind of shit. And it's, again, Leon has consistently talked about how amazing he is with Cupid, and yet we haven't seen him play Cupid in Smite Night all too often. And it could just be, hey, let's break it up, let's try to do, you know, different things against people who aren't going to, you know, have this down to a science, a kit, and meta everything from the start and finish, you know. So this time he might be showing us exactly what he's capable of.
The early game's really going to be the essential component to all this because Bastet's so much of a snowball kind of god. If she can get an early advantage, she can absolutely just run away with it. So I think it's going to be really crucial for Leon to get in there and try to pick up that first blood, to try to pick up the advantage over Bastet, because if she can't get that advantage, she definitely flounders quite a bit, and Cupid can get moving towards that end game where he is just an absolute monster.
And this is starting up. We'll see how well this turns out. Float up a bit while being wedged into Bastet's chest here. Tebble on Chaos side. Will this curse continue now? Counter curse, if you will.
Lord, those are ridiculously huge breasts for a cat. Also, there's something very wrong with her eyes. They seem very lifeless.
I hit the sync up button before I forget. Which only brought me back a little bit, so yeah, I think we were pretty close.
LeonHarte going for both meditation and sprint with the death toll right away. Basic build, almost auto-buy looking.
I'm pretty sure he didn't auto-buy that, but he could be just most comfortable with kind of that basic setup. It gives him a little bit more utility to start the game, while Tebble's going to go a little bit more risky, picking up Hand of the Gods, and then stacking combat boots right away. Also picking up 4 multi-pots.
Don't see the multi-pots utilized all that much since they've been added in, because while they do heal both, it's only about half as much, and it takes twice as long.
And personally, I've noticed with Freya, I have more use for the mana potions than I do the health potions, although everyone seems to build the opposite. And it's mostly because I have no problem fleeing with Freya. I know I'm not a tank. I know that my health is pretty much set on, you know, whether or not I'm being shot at, but at the same time, I can also get it back from the lifesteal. So multi-pots for, you know, you'd think that there'd be use for a god who's going to have kind of equal drain on their mana and their health, but it just, yeah, I don't see them used too often. Kind of a stalking going on right now. Leon looking around, Tebble waiting,
Minions have spawned.
already starting a fight.
That's gonna be dangerous. Leon just got a little bit of a chunk of damage done to him without anything done in return, and Tebble's not gonna be really bothered by that. He's just going right back to the camp, use that hand to knock out everybody else, and he's gonna pick up that mana camp relatively easily.
I don't know if Tebble's going to head back or try to do some damage in the lane. I've always felt that starting the match, it's better to just immediately head back once you've picked up a buff, especially when you're brand new and you don't have anyone backing you up. Tebble going in an assassin mode, but Leon dashing out of the way almost immediately on the dive.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
LeonHarte's actually able to deal quite a lot of damage to Tebble there. Had he been able to hit that heart, that might have actually put Tebble in a location where he would have had to retreat or he would have died.
Tebble forced to use one of his multi-pots already. Leon still on a decent amount of mana, but Cupid does burn through mana quite a bit.
The danger with Tebble right now is because he's leaping into combat so much, he's picking up so much minion aggro, and they are just tearing that low health pool
Your middle
apart.
tower.
That is kind of one of the big issues when, you know, why he picked a physical god against a ranged. You know, had he picked Artemis, we might see a little bit more of an even fare here. I think what Tebble's relying on is getting in, dealing that damage and those bleeds. Once he gets his ult up, it's probably going to be the combo he's looking for. But it's still its
Luckily,
Leon
though,
build.
Leon seems to be very quick generally with that dash to get out of there as soon as he comes in. So he
Your
can
middle tower
Tebble can
is
dash
under
in, but
attack.
all he's really doing is picking up minion aggro.
Leon knows exactly what Tebble is capable of and what Bastet's capable of, and he's going to be using that to his advantage here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure as soon as he sees Bastet anywhere near him and that cooldown's off, in his mind, he's just got his finger on the 3 ready to dash. And you dash in the opposite direction, and you've just completely wasted that leap.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Now he's back in lane. He does have his ult up. Looks like Temple's also picking up that that hammer, maybe building that into presumably Jotun's Wrath, though it could go in a different direction with that if he so chooses. Meanwhile, Leon is not headed back to base yet.
And Leon, knowing that exactly what Tebble's capable of, doesn't let him get close.
Oh, that was interesting. I don't know.
Did we see the ult go off without any graphics?
I think that may have been what happened. It looks like Tebble got completely stunned. And now Leon, he still has his ult. At least his indicator seems to suggest he does.
Yeah, I heard the same noise that would usually be indicative of the ult going off. It could have possibly been the 5-hit. I think, was he close enough to an exploding minion's heart that might have caused the stun?
That might have done it. It might have been a heart that got him. That wasn't on him, but a minion.
I'm also wondering if we lost Sean yet.
Nope.
Leon's
still in lane. Use that meditation. He's basically a fool for both, and he's able to get an advantage in here on Tebble.
Tebble keeps looking to dive in to take out some minions with Hand of the Gods. A taunt ends up getting him whipped.
What a taunt!
Perhaps an errant taunt there. A bit presumptuous.
Yeah, I'd say not until you start getting some situations where you know that you have them at advantage. I mean, Tebble's not somebody you just want to kind of taunt to, hey man, what you gonna do? Because you'll find out what he does very shortly. This is not advantage Leon here. I'm surprised he's going... Oh, he was baiting Tebble, but Tebble did not fall for it. Now, is that ult also allowed for early detonation?
No.
No,
Oh!
that cannot be early activated.
So Leon uses a dive in to freaking hit Tebble with a heart bomb just to be like, yeah, you're recalling, but you better not do it out here.
Once again, LeonHarte is still in lane. I imagine he'll retreat with this lane push, but actually no, he's
He may wait for a tower down.
damage.
Your middle tower
And this is actually
under
probably
attack.
pretty dangerous. The longer he can stay in lane with Tebble having to go back constantly allows him to get those level advantages.
It does, but he is not gaining any items at this point. Tebble has dropped the ult on him, and Leon is going to go down.
Yeah, the cats end up finishing him off, and that's probably the combo that Tebble is waiting for. Definitely allow him to get a little bit of an advantage now, but this also lets Leon get half the items that he's been kind of just holding on to and waiting to get.
Yeah, he's had basically about a full item's worth of items to pick up, so he's actually picked up that full level of Devourer's gloves, and he's got his level 2 boots now, picking up some pots as well.
Again, we all know getting Devourers or any kind of stack builder early in the match is more than enough to really kind of turn the tables, especially if you can keep the lean farm. And as we see, Leon is perfectly capable of staying in the lane, getting those minions down as quickly as possible, and just keeping that up.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Oh.
Look at that combo. It is ridiculous that is how much damage a Bastet can do with just a single pounce.
And that pounce followed up by the bleed. Leon was hoping to trap Tebble in the ult, which didn't work. What? Oh, wow. A little odd graphical situation on my end. I saw the cats go in, and immediately after being deployed, we watch LeonHarte die, and then the cats suddenly teleport to where his body is. But either way, again...
the cats actually weren't at him yet when he died, which was a little weird.
Yeah.
Well, now that tower's going to be pushed down without any assistance from Tebble. Tebble's going to be going back to pick up his mana buff. He has done so, heading back. LeonHarte's there, now back in the lane. He picked up a light blade. I imagine probably going into Quinn's size with off of that, or Quinn's blades rather. I'll be interested to see where he goes with that, but he is now at a disadvantage. Tebble has a 2-kill lead over him and is able to do just so much damage so quickly with those powers.
At this point, Leon should probably be thinking about building to counteract that. Possibly picking up an Aegis so that once Tebble leaps in, he can kind of counteract half those bleeds and stuns that are going to be coming.
Oof. Wow.
Yeah.
All it took was 2 pounces to just deal all of that damage.
And those bleeds are absurdly friggin' powerful. And hopefully Leon picks up something that's going to be able to counteract that, or Tebble's just going to keep leaping in, tearing him apart, and running away while the blood does all the work.
Your team has destroyed a middle enemy tower.
Tebble looking to refresh the mana buff.
Your middle phoenix is under attack.
And now heading back, we are seeing that that balance blade come out from Leon, and what are we going to see Tebble start picking up? It looks like he's going right into that Hydra's Lament, going for that extra little burst damage he can get out of an auto attack every time he uses that pounce.
You know, that seems to be Tebble's basic build with Bastet that he does. So, without any defensive items of any sort on LeonHarte, I'd be hard pressed to say that he'd survive even 1 pounce from him after he gets that Hydra.
Yeah, it may be the time for him to stop with the early game lane minion farming, get rid of the death toll. It's not going to be helping him out at this point. And focus on getting something that's going to help him survive most of these attacks. Tebble very angrily almost just leaping in, trying to get some attacks. Leon manages to get himself back up to full health. Well, not full, but near full. Tebble also taking some serious damage from that little bit of a fuck it YOLO move.
Oh.
No. Oh!
Oh, actually, Tebble canceled his recall now. He's going in for the kill, misses with the hearts.
The heart bomb on Tebble doesn't finish him off, and Tebble...
So low.
He had to have 1, maybe 2 HP left. He was a fart away from dying.
Well, LeonHarte is picking up now. He's actually going with that Executioner and seeing what he goes with that. He has now his level 2 sprint, which is very key because he's able to pop that if all Tebble's doing with the chase is putting down those cats, he should be able to pop that sprint and get out of there. But Tebble is pushing down on that lane extremely hard right now.
Well, at this point, it's still very minion-focused. Leon also picks up Executioner for a little bit more of attack speed and some penetration. There's still really no defensive items on Tebble, so getting some kind of penetration this early when there's really kind of better off to probably get some defense. Even a little bit could be more than enough to just save you from those last couple hits that would help you finish him off.
I think if Tebble goes Fist of the Gods here, I think we're looking for GG here. If he gets that stun.
Your middle phoenix is under
Bastette's
attack.
3 has been vastly improved in her new version. That used to be easily the never bother to ever upgrade this ability, and now it's probably one of the most useful ones in her kit. Tebble keeps recalling and quitting, almost as if he's just doing this for the sake of doing that backflip. But now he's finally actually heading back. Leon's finally able to start making a push, but very hesitantly.
Bastet in the jungle. Hopefully he can do a little bit of minion farming to help counteract it, but Bastet is so powerful. She got that jungle camp in practically a second,
Your
and here
middle
she
tower
comes.
is under attack.
Yeah, and Leon did not want to push. He did not want to risk going up any further so he'd get caught from behind by Tebble, which is what Tebble was ultimately going for. Was able to get a little bit of damage on that tower, but not a whole lot, and that's the dangerous hole that Leon finds himself in right now. It's so hard for him to try to push to make advantage. He has to take that risk, though, because if he keeps playing at the way he's at right now, I don't see him being able to take over Tebble at this point. Tebble has such a big advantage on him.
Your middle phoenix is under attack.
Guess we're letting the minions take care of the Phoenix at this point. It's odd how quickly this turned around. It seemed almost the beginning was LeonHarte was just like taunting, doing major damage to Tebble right away, and sure enough, once that kit got put together, a little bit more items put into Tebble, and now it's the tables have severely turned. It's a little bit of a dance back and forth, everyone just hanging right outside the Phoenix. I think it's just opportunism at this point.
Yeah, really, Tebble, I think that now is just kind of waiting for advantage. Of course, he doesn't really have that way of really making a big push in the same way that we saw perhaps what Sonic Rose doing with Noir last round. Tebble doesn't really have the way to push the lane down that much, but really I think what he's looking for right now is to get so built that he's able to leap in and just kill LeonHarte with just a couple attacks, and that way he can make the push with the minion wave.
And I think that's unfortunately what Tebble has to rely on. It's still advantage him at this point. Leon doesn't have that much better lane clear than Bastet. A little bit better, but not by much.
And
Oh,
there
here
it
we
is
go.
right there. All that Tebble needs is just, that's going to be it. The surrender from LeonHarte.
Lost side down
Chaos
again.
side OP. Chaos side OP, man.